Hey, how's it going? It's Sam Frost here, coming at you from the lockdown bunker, also known as my home office. And what I want to do in this video is just quickly talk about the importance of making sure that any marketing messaging you have out there in public at the moment actually aligns with the experience you're able to deliver to your customer and is also aligned to the sort of sensitivities of the current climate. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you're going to know that basically the whole world is in a state of crisis, really, let's be honest, about coronavirus, COVID-19. Now, depending on where you live, you'll be under varying degrees of restriction. Here in New Zealand, we've recently entered, just last week, a level 4 lockdown, which basically means that you're at home unless you're an essential worker, and you can only really leave your house to exercise or to get any sort of medical treatment or to go and procure essential services or products. So that's basically going to the supermarket to get food or going to the petrol station if you need to fill your car up. Now, what that means is that most other businesses can't trade normally. So I'll use the example of an e-commerce store. Now, an e-commerce store at the moment in NZ, you can have your website up and running, people can browse, you can run ads to your site. But if you're not an essential business or an essential service, you're not supposed to be trading in the sense that you can't be dispatching orders and processing them and everything. Now, what this creates is a bit of a conundrum from a marketing perspective. You've probably seen it yourself. I'm definitely seeing it a lot. I've been spending probably a bit too much time on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and everything as, people are having more time to kill being stuck at home. And you'll see a lot of ads that are sort of carrying on as if it's business as usual. Now, in some respects, that's a good thing. I've said multiple times since this crisis began, and I'll maintain it, ongoing, that you need to continue promoting and advertising your business. However, you also need to be cognizant of how your business is able to interface with the public. So if you're running ads at the moment, make sure that they aren't telling people to do something they can't do. Make sure they aren't sort of dangling a carrot that can never be reached. And what I mean by that is if you're saying, hey, jump on our website now and we'll give you a great price and we'll ship this item out in 48 hours. That's the sort of messaging you've got in your ads. Well, you're going to need to go and revise that, because unless you're offering an essential product or an essential service, you're not going to actually be able to deliver that, because you're not going to be able to process and dispatch the orders. So what I'm really saying is go and review all of your marketing messaging that's out there, all of your campaigns, and make sure they actually align with what people can do. Don't give someone something to click on that you can't actually fulfill. Now, I'm not saying don't go out and promote your business. What you could look to do, for example, is actually run promotions on your site, but make it very clear in your messaging, make it very clear in the ad copy, on the landing pages, any emails you send out, all those kinds of things, that, hey, if you submit an order with us, we're not going to be able to process it until, such time as the lockdown lifts, until such time as the government advises we are allowed to go back to business as usual. But if you place an order with us now, we're not going to charge you, for example, until the lockdown lifts, and you're going to be able to lock in a great price. And I'll give a shout out to a particular vendor who's doing a good job at that. I think it's Mighty Ape, which is a sort of online store that sells a whole lot of stuff, electronics, food, all those kinds of things. Here in NZ, they've got a really clear and concise message on their website that makes it clear that, hey, you can browse, you can shop, but we're not going to be able to process your order until the lockdown lifts. So basically what I'm saying there, with your ad copy and with your web presence, your marketing presence, so that includes your website, your emails, everything, social media channels, make it clear how people can interact with you, how you'd like them to interact with your business. If you're a business-to-business organization, and people are still making inquiries, it might almost be a little bit easier to handle. You're just going to have to stretch out your lead times longer. I'm still seeing, for the clients I work with, quite a lot of interest, to be honest, in a lot of different industries. People are still researching, they're planning what they're going to buy when life returns to normal. So this is not a message to say stop advertising, far from it. It's just a message to say review how you're advertising. Make sure that what you're putting out there is not going to give someone the wrong message, that's not going to give someone an impression that they can buy from you today and receive the product tomorrow like they normally would have done. They're going to have to wait and look for opportunities to lock in revenue, and I'll do a video about that in the near future. One other thing to mention as well, and to be very wary of, is that whatever messaging you put out in public at the moment, you've got to be considerate and compassionate and kind, and actually think about whether that messaging is going to sort of play too aggressively on any sensitivities. Now let's have it out in the open. This crisis is going to lead to a lot of, I guess, suffering, to be honest, for many people, whether that's related to their health, they become sick, or their family members or friends become sick. People are dying all around the world. We've had our first death here in New Zealand, for example, and I presume, I'm going to guess that most people assume there will probably be more. It's a very tragic situation all around, and also there are the economic and social consequences as well. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs, lose their businesses, have to have a reduced standard of living. And I'm not saying this to be a doom and gloom merchant. What I'm saying is that you need to be aware of this in your marketing. Don't put anything out in public that might not go down too well in the current climate. So anything about sort of just be careful, I guess, is what I'm saying, in how you frame your messaging. Read and sort of re-examine what you've put out into the marketplace to make sure that there's no way someone could misconstrue it as if you're making light or making fun of the current situation. Make sure that you're, just being considerate of all the challenges that people are going through, that you're probably going through yourself at the moment. I'm not going to tell you exactly how to phrase anything or frame anything. I'm not a public relations expert. There are plenty of people who are far better qualified than me at that, but certainly be wary of how you promote. Certainly be wary of how you message, not just from a can I do business with you perspective. Can I go on your website and buy and get the product shipped to me? Well, probably not at the moment, but also from the perspective of is your messaging going to risk, inflaming sensibilities and sensitivities? Is it going to risk offending anyone? Just be careful of that. So yeah, hopefully you find this video helpful. If you've got any questions, please ask. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.